Okay. All right. Here we are. 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 Sound is going, being recorded. All right. So, welcome to our special Wednesday Sacred Circle time with a pre recorded session for you. And let's just go ahead and tune in and we'll dive into it. Tuning with the sound. Oh. Really stretching out the sounds of AUM as this initial vibratory energy that set creation into motion. AUM. We'll do it on one breath, but it'll be like this. Ah. Hold on. Like this. Ah. That U sound. The point kind of draws up a bit. And then the M sound. Give time to each, but it's going to be on one breath. Inhale, exhale. Inhale to begin. All. 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 Last one. All. Inhale deep. Hold the breath. Lift the muscles of the pelvic floor. Hold. As long as you're not on your cycle or pregnant. If you are, just hold the breath. Exhale. Allow the breath to come to normal. Deep and long and gentle, sweet. Relax the hands down. Welcome again to our very special Wednesday Sacred Circle pre-recorded. Our topic today is embodying the yoga, the power of embodying the yoga to move through blocks, the power of embodying yoga to move through blocks. Now, I know we've been going through sutras, Yoga Sutras, which is ancient teachings that are sharing with us the way to navigate through life with the mind being in union with the higher self, right? the human aspects of this mind, being in union with the higher self. And today I had to take a journey and had an experience of the yoga breaking through blocks. So I'll give you a little background. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I think I did around being distracted, identifying with what the world will have us do to be successful. Just, just right there, to be successful. Um, especially for me and my wife, we're self-employed entrepreneurs and looking to have what we do as work have a special meaning and be in alignment with our purpose, right? And to uplift humanity in ways that is needed so we can experience, the fullness of life, right? Where we can be taken care of by the gifts that flow through us. There's a recognition of that. So we live this life, and we face the challenges of what it is to navigate and create and listen and be disciplined. So along those lines, you got it, right? You got it. Along those lines, there is the energy of creating and which involves stepping out there and doing photo shoots and listening for what it is that is looking to be created through us. Usually it's music, and because of our research and study in the prana and the mantra, which is using sounds like Abum, chanting Abum, or like we just chanted Om, Aum, using those as ways to create our life. So we dissolve suffering and we move into purpose-driven life where we're empowered by the moment. Yeah. So, but even in that, we can get lost in the ego, meaning that there's things I need to do, and I need to get this done, and I need to do that, and I need to do this, and I need to make this amount of money, and I need to take care of those bills. We can still, even though we're being responsible and looking to live an honorable life, we can still get into that modification of the mind. It begins to identify with the world and then create an identity around being successful. Yeah. Being a savior, solving problems can dip into some ego business. And so I was telling you about, and if you're hearing it for the first time, but just around, we needed to create content and marketing materials, and the business of doing this shows up, like a photo shoot. And so before we had to start working in a retreat, we being professional and entrepreneurial, so we were putting together these projects, one of which was a photo shoot. And, between taking care of our daughter, it starts to get into this somewhat of a pushing mode, like we're pushing to make this happen because this is what needs to happen to do a successful retreat. And here's where the modification comes in. Yeah, like we're pushing this and it's creating a little bit of stress to get it all done and be prepared for the big retreat that we do annually with the Recovery 2.0 community and facilitating that retreat. Between making sure my mother is set, being taken care of, and getting myself to Costa Rica from Alabama. The logistics of that during these times can be quite challenging, which means now there's more focus really on the world of traveling as it stands today, taking care of everything. And landing and dropping right into work when you come to Costa Rica, there's usually a 3-day integration period because the energy of the blue zone, it calls on you to be in the flow of life, the flow of the waters, the flow of the wind, the flow of the sunrise and sunset. It requires you to settle into nature. Coming from America, sometimes there's this, this pushing spirit that go, 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 but the energy is pura vida, like a pure life flow. So there's this nature kind of puts the brakes on. But dropping in and there's assignments to take care of, getting ready for a retreat coming up, and you got to get our marketing together and push to get the dates and the times for the photo shoot. And man, it gets to be a thing. So I think I mentioned to you that we were on the photo shoot, and there's a moment being on a particular beach, knowing that there's certain times when you do not leave your car by itself, right? And in the movement, catching the sunset, photography crew is going out, my wife and a crew. It's just the photographer, really. We are the crew helping her get the shots and do the things. But they're going out to catch the sunset and catch these ideas, and I'm standing at the car and I'm looking at it. And I'm saying, and I kept missing the computer man because something was going on with my computer. So in order to get out of the house in a way where I had everything, I had to grab my whole bag. And I didn't get a chance to get it ready for traveling in Costa Rica, which means I'm taking out my passport, I'm taking out things that don't need to be in there. You see where the story is going already. So I stand there, I put a few sacred symbols on the car. That was a lesson right there. When you know the nature that you're in, you act accordingly. When we go hiking in Ojai, we're aware, especially around sunset, that we need to be aware of the mountain lines. That's pretty much the thing to be aware of, right? It's part of nature. Right? So I may be in my spiritual ego, I want this symbol to do something for me while I go and do this photo shoot, right? There's a little bit of a distraction going on with the photo shoot in that moment. And I'm not fully here and take your backpack with you. I'm thinking, get to the photo shoot, get it done, get back to the car, put a sacred symbol on there, and that'll protect the energy. But I wasn't quite focused. My energy was a bit scattered. Been traveling, I know the nature of the nature where the car is, but I didn't follow it. I come back to the car after the photo shoot. Computer bag is gone. My backpack is gone. A few other things we're discovering, but the most jaw-dropping thing is like, I knew it. I knew it. So the journey of healing that fracture and the integrity of life, the way it's set up, credit cards and, all these different things, these passwords and things. I start remembering what's in the bag. And, oh man, so still unwinding, but it's what has me here in San Jose right now. And It is looking at our topic of embodying yogic teachings to break through blocks, right? So in the bag was the passport, and we know how important that document is. So I needed to come to San Jose, where I am now, go to the US Embassy and get the passport replaced because I needed to travel. One thing I didn't realize is that you needed to travel. So as I got to the airport today, and they asked for my passport, and I said, "Oh, funny you ask. It's the reason why I'm traveling today." And and the attendant said, "Well, you can't get on our plane without a passport," right? So in my flow, at this point, I'm in this journey of fulfilling this mission, deep in it, and have been asking for help for the vision of a new passport in my hands. It wasn't until I got to the airport where I began to wonder about that as I was hearing the attendant ask for other passports. But I'm thinking I'm flying within the country, so just like within the United States, I don't really need a passport. But it is different here. And I just kept presenting information. Here's my driver's license. Here's a picture of my passport. And I will say, if you are traveling, take pictures of your important documents. I had also some documents around pursuing my residency, and I had the police report, right? All of those things coming together allowed her to start to shift and figure out ways, call her supervisor, boom, 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 got the ticket. And next hurdle is to go to immigration. And she talks on my behalf. So having her there as an angel, I have other papers. Do they need to see them? No, they just took my driver's license, picture of the passport, and began their inquiry into who I am and all the things going on. And ultimately, I was allowed to come to San Jose so I can go to the embassy. So the embodiment that I was going through during all of that was dropping into the breath, into the nose. Come on with me. Into the nose, out of the mouth. And so with the mouth, I was subtle. In the mouth, out the nose. In the nose. Keeping myself centered in the mission of what brought me to this moment. So another thought was taking place as I'm hearing the breath. There is that energy of time, the organizer of time, the creation of life. That designer set this moment up. Let me just be open to the miracles that can take place. So any worry or fear that was coming up that I wouldn't make it, melt it into the conscious breathing, which brings us, as you remember, brings us from respiratory centers of survival into the creative centers. So I'm there in the breath, deep in it, and also deep in the awareness that the organizer of life set this experience in motion. Let me be open to the experience. And I watch the support, you know, when she says, I'll walk with you. It's like, wow, I never even considered that an attendant would do something like that. And then I had a mix up with one of my tickets and I had to get another ticket because I couldn't get through to the office. And then she says, let me work on that. Let me see if I can get something happening with that. And then she turned it into an open ticket that I have a certain amount of time to use. What am I saying here? It's a big, long explanation of these various examples of life, but I want to lay it out there on the table for you to see that when we are going through these teachings of these ancient teachings that have been written down, that it's not just about what has been written down. Well, let me say it this way, cancel delete. Say it this way, it's more to the opening of examining what has been written from the past. That's one of the ideas of correct knowledge, that this insight, it flows with validity throughout time. And you are an embodiment of that validity. In comes the discipline, focusing on the breath. So crucial in allowing the breakthrough from the old patterns that acknowledges suffering and invokes patterns of it. You get habitual around the activities that promote the suffering through immediate gratification. You get the gratification, but once you move through the gratification, what's left? The suffering untended to. But here we're saying as you go through the suffering, you tend to the faculties of your being that opens you up to the creative faculties of creation. And all of a sudden the support drops in, not from a mental conjuring point of view where you're using your will in that way, but you're in your divine will where you're using, I use my will to focus on the breath when the mind was worried about what is this immigration agent going to say. Focused in. So we've practiced that breath before and continue it in through the mouth, out through the nose. And then add a little movement if you need, if it's thick, right? If the situation you're in is thick, if it's around money, if it's around relationships, if you can't see a way out, then let your hands rest here by the heart. And then do the circular breath. So let's say you draw in through the mouth and we'll do 3 segments, 3 to find your angle, right? You have one point where you're born, your identity, and you're flowing in duality, right? In that earthly plane, and then you find your angle to rise above just the physical pain and pleasure existence into creative inspiration, intuition, finding your angle. Yeah. 3 segments. Follow me. Inhale through the nose. Out the mouth. In the mouth. Out the nose. Inhale, same. In the nose. Exhale, opposite. The mouth. Nose. Mouth. Nose. Mouth. Last cycle. Mouth. Nose. Last segment, inhale through the nose. And notice my spinal flex, but hold that breath. Notice I had a little spinal flex in there. And exhale, relax the shoulders, bring the hands in front of the heart. like you're cupping a ball of energy. And you may do this to prepare for going out into a challenge. Or if you just don't know what to do, emotions are welling up, mind is cloudy, just drop into that breath. It's about 3 minutes. Drop into it 6, 9, 12. I like cycles of 3, 18, 21. Maybe you'll go with the master numbers, 11, 22, 33. Drop into it and extend yourself into it. All right. There you have it. Just wanted you to see those two examples of really breaking through because it's time. We will need next week to dip into this eclipse season because, wow, the eclipses are really going into those unconscious patterns to be purified. So the shake-up can be big. Breath is connected to the flow of creation. Therefore, you can always be centered. All right. Until next week. One love. As we pray out, Creator, thank you so much for awakening in us solutions to the challenges that we face. Thank you for the resources that unfold in miraculous ways that gives us confidence in your presence and a sense of being taken care of, dissolving all issues with low self-esteem and feeling like we don't belong. Thank you for dissolving that into a sense of being loved and taken care of by an infinite source. And we see this radiating out. All the children of the world with clean water, being clothed where needed, being taken care of, to have their well-being taken care of. That's it. Their well-being taken care of in every aspect of life. Because when the children are taken care of, we're taken care of. We ask this for all our family and all the relations. All right. Until next week, family. I'll see you then. Keep tuning in. Tuning in to that infinite self that you are.